By now, you've probably heard a lot of allegations, outrage, and a lot of noise about the Tirupati laddu issue. It's everywhere. But this isn't one such video. I'm not going to simply repeat what all politicians have been saying. But was adulterated ghee actually used in the Srivari laddu? Should devotees really be worried about their faith being defiled? No. And I'm not the one saying this. The executive officer of the TTD, Shamala Rao, said so.
Adulterated ghee, 4 tankers have been kept aside.
So, why are many politicians claiming that crores of devotees have consumed laddus with animal fat? What is this lab report that everyone's waving around to prove animal fat was used? And what is the politics behind all of this? Let me explain. It all started when Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu claimed that animal fat was used in the ghee to make the Tirupati laddu. A day later, a lab report by NDDB in Gujarat was released by Shamala Rao. The results from 4 samples showed that some were adulterated. Rao also said the ghee was adulterated with many kinds of fats, including animal fats like tallow and lard. This is where things get tricky. He's both right and wrong. Let's break it down. The 8-page lab report gives results for 2 ghee samples. The first one met all the food safety standards for the parameters tested. But the second sample didn't pass the test. It failed in fatty acid profile, beta-cytosterol, and milk fat purity. Now let's zoom in on beta-cytosterol. This is something that usually points to ghee being mixed with vegetable fats. Now keep that in mind, we'll come back to this a little later. Now look at the annexure. It says 5 S values were off. S value is a calculation used to check milk fat purity. So yes, the ghee was adulterated, but with what? The annexure also has a table listing possible adulterants. So there's soya bean, sunflower, olive, fish oil, and even beef tallow or lard. The list goes on and on. So as you can see, the table has 14 adulterants. Not 1 or 2, 14. Here's what most people get wrong. The table shows what could be the adulterants, not that all 14 were found in every single sample. That's impossible and definitely not economical. Now remember the beta-cytosterol I mentioned earlier? Since its levels were off, it's more likely that the vegetable oil was the culprit. And this isn't just me or the scientists saying it. Even TDP spokesperson Venkataramana Reddy told us that he agrees that animal fat is just one of the possibilities. Most of you have watched TV anchors screaming on top of their voices that ghee has been found laced with animal fat. That screaming is because they have not read even one full page of the report. Let's scroll down to the end of this annexure. What does it say? Caveats. It clearly states that some of the results could be false positives. If the cows or buffaloes were fed a lot of vegetable oils or were underfed or had undergone cholesterol treatments, the results might not be accurate. So what should the Andhra government and these TV anchors ask for? More tests, consistent tests, because these tests can only tell that the ghee is adulterated, but not exactly what the adulterant is. But specific tests can tell us if this was just a one-off or if the company is deliberately adulterating the ghee. The company in this case is AR Foods based in Dindigul. Now here's what we do know. 4 ghee samples given to the Tirupati Tirumala temple were probably adulterated. The samples were rejected and not used in the laddu as confirmed by the executive officer of the Devasthanam. And finally, the adulteration could have been from any of these 14 possible fats.
Adulterated ghee, 4 tankers have been kept aside, and then they were kept aside so that they can be used when the reports come clear. But the reports unfortunately didn't come clear, then we rejected, we sent away. And then we stopped from that supplier.
So why are politicians, including Chief Minister Naidu, claiming that crores of devotees have eaten laddus with animal fat? This is where the politics comes in. The Tirupati Tirumala Devasthanam remains one of the most visited pilgrimage sites in the world. On an average, 50,000 to 1 lakh devotees visit the temple every day, And during festivals or special occasions, this number can shoot up to 5 lakh visitors in a single day. And the laddu prasadam is central to the temple pilgrimage. TTD sells an average of 3 lakh laddus every single day. During peak times, the number can go even higher. So anything to do with the laddu or the temple is bound to stir up emotions. Over the years, there have been multiple controversies surrounding the temple, from allegations of theft to disputes over board appointments to TTD. But since Jagan Mohan Reddy took office in 2019, controversy is often dragged in his religion. Why? Because Jagan is a Christian. TDP and the BJP have in the past accused YSRCP of appointing Christians and corrupt officials to the TTD board. Jagan is not the first Christian chief minister in Andhra Pradesh. His father, the late Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy, was also a devout Christian. Sure, there were controversies surrounding Tirupati back then too, but never before has the religion of the chief minister become fodder for such a campaign. Just look at some of these comments.
ये लड़ाई शुरू हो गया है. हमारा अस्तित्व, हमारा आस्था, सनातन धर्म और हिंदू का हर उस आस्था को बचाने के लिए अब हम चुप नहीं बैठने वाले हैं.
एक पापी मुख्यमंत्री ने हमारे मंदिर को अपवित्र करने का षड्यंत्र किया गया.
ఇష్టానికి మాట్లాడుతా ఉన్నారు సనాతన ధర్మం మీద. అయ్యప్ప స్వామి మీద మాట్లాడతారు, సరస్వతి దేవి మీద మాట్లాడతారు. అల్లా మీద మీరు మాట్లాడగలరా? మహమ్మద్ ప్రవక్త మీద మీరు మాట్లాడగలరా? జీసస్ మీద మీరు మాట్లాడగలరా? అందరూ కూర్చొని సనాతన ధర్మం మీద వినాయకుడి మీద జోకులు వేస్తారు.
With these serious allegations, of course, a lot of devotees are bound to be disturbed. But if you think that this is just an organic reaction, think again. The usual toolkit has been activated. Now, the TTD board can be faulted for giving the ghee tender at a really low rate, which might have opened the door for adulteration. And yes, many devotees have complained that the quality of laddu has gone down. But to say that they have deliberately adulterated it with beef tallow, that's a big leap and clearly aimed at political gains. Remember, the tests were done back in July by the TTD board. So why did Chief Minister Naidu wait till September to bring this up? Naidu did address this question, but our sources in TDP, Janasena and BJP tell us that there's more to this. Apparently, this has something to do with the upcoming Haryana elections. Naidu and Pawan Kalyan seem to be playing specific roles. One is tackling the technicalities, while the other is being the angry Hindu voice. We reported about this in detail in this week's Power Trip. By the way, Power Trip is a weekly political newsletter, and only if you are a Newslaundry or a News Minute subscriber, you get access to this. But I can assure you that the stories that we bring in, the inside scoop, is completely worth it.
It's a deep anguish, deep pain. Don't you ever forget. Before you come and think 100 times and talk about Sanatana Dharma. Enough of this. Salu.
And about the beef tallow, let's not forget that in 2014, when Narendra Modi came to power, his government lifted the ban on buffalo tallow exports, a ban that had been in place since 1983. Now you're probably wondering how the English media reacted to all of this. After all, it's a sensitive issue, especially for one of the most popular Hindu pilgrimage centers.
Halim made in, let's say, lard, being served in a government-sponsored iftar party, this country would have witnessed a civil war. What are we talking about?
ये लड्डू इसका हमने सैंपल लिया और ये सैंपल लेने के बाद बेसिक लेवल पे जैसे टेस्ट करते हैं तो हम इसको इसमें डालेंगे और उसके बाद कुछ किस तरह के रीएजेंट्स होते हैं उन रीएजेंट्स को हम इसके अंदर ऐड करेंगे.
Where viewers, Madhavi Lata, BJP leader, has just reached a short while back. She was on her way a short while back. We spoke to her as well, and she had said very clearly there that Jagan Mohan Reddy should not be allowed to enter the premises.
The mainstream media's coverage has been alarming. Amidst all the noise, the facts got completely lost. With zero regard for the actual report, some politicians and journalists too are jumping to conclusions. You know who doesn't jump to conclusions? Good reporters. If you think that you deserve careful reportage on sensitive issues and responsible reporting, then subscribe to News Minute, and the newslaundry. Now we're also seeing the Free Temples campaign get a complete boost from all of this. I've talked about this campaign in detail before, but the situation gave it a perfect opportunity. But as a political reporter, the question I want to end with is, what is TDP looking to gain? The ruling coalition in Andhra already has a brute majority, but the TDP could score politically with this issue. First, they can turn public anger against Jagan's YSRCP. And second, they can position themselves as protectors of the Hindu faith, keeping BJP at bay. You see, for now, BJP and TDP are allies. But for how long? Naidu doesn't want to give BJP an entry point into Andhra Pradesh like they did in Telangana with Hindutva. And Pawan Kalyan is using his oratory skills to stir up emotions among crores of devotees. A Shuddhikarana, meaning a cleanse of the temple, was done. But politics aside, in matters of religion and faith, trust is important. And it looks for now, better sense has prevailed amongst the devotees. The number of pilgrims visiting Tirupati hasn't gone down, and the sales of the laddu are still strong. But let's not ignore the genuine concerns. Many devotees have been complaining about long queues to VIP entry and the quality of the prasadam. If there's any kind of adulteration, even if it's vegetable oil, it needs to be taken seriously and investigated thoroughly. But here's the thing. Politicians should really remember that playing with people's trust for political gains is a dangerous game, one that could backfire very badly on them someday. That's it from me for this week. Do write to me at pooja@thenewsminute.com about what you think, where you stand on this entire laddu controversy. It is developing and we will keep you ahead of what is happening, the reactions, the counter reactions, and most importantly, the facts. By the way, this week we are publishing a very important profile of a BSP leader who was recently assassinated in Tamil Nadu. This is a profile my colleague Asifa has been working on very meticulously for the last few weeks. Make sure you catch that report, and also you will be able to watch videos on that report on this very platform very soon.